So again, the idea for the main point of managing cross-cultural transitions is you have to know yourself, then you know the others, then you adapt to that market. So how about Kim Gyuri? What are 2 ways to try to know yourself? If that is an exam question. Kim Gyuri, can you answer that, please?
Yes, Professor.
Yes is a nice answer, but it's the wrong answer. The question is, know what are 2 ways to know yourself? What are 2 ways to know your culture? The answer is on my screen now. It's on the monitor. It's highlighted. I just said it. Kim Gui, you have 19 people waiting for you to talk.
Oh, okay. I can't read it.
What are 2 ways to identify your culture? We've been talking about it many times this semester. So you don't know what it is? Okay. What about Kwan, Junha? Can you help identify what are 2 ways to identify your culture?
Hosted and MBTI.
Good. Great. That's the answer. Can you explain what is Hofstede or MBTI? Can you explain, Mr. Kwan, what is Hofstede or what is MBTI?
Hosted is was on data from one company and showed a country of power distance in the individual makes policy act percent.
Okay, yes. And the other one that we're talking about? The MBTI? Maybe if anyone in class has actually done this, this was one of the projects for students to do in week 1 and week 2 and week 3 to try to complete this www.humanmetrics.com.
Yeah. Professor?
Yes?
Can I tell my MBTI?
If you can explain yours, yes, I can give you extra points, an extra point for that. Can you explain what this is to the class?
It's like personality or characteristic check, and to see what kind of characteristic or personality someone has. And I say I have INFJ or INTJ. I don't know.
Okay.
INFJ, INTP, or INFP.
Big differences between those. So INTJ, as we see here.
No.
Very...
INTP. INTP.
INTP.
INFP or INFJ. I resulted in 3 kind of different results like this.
Okay, so you did the test 3 different times and the answer came back different each time you did it?
Yeah.
Okay, that's possible. As you can see here, the INFJ, if you go through this quiz, and it asks you these questions. It will tell you at the end what is your personality type. And these personality types will match also to your career type and your communication type and your learning type and your work type, your dating type, your marriage type. It explains many parts of you. It talks about how you are extroverted or introverted, or how you sense things, or how you have intuition, how you do more thinking, or how you do more feeling or judging, perceiving, many different things. But it's a simple quiz and it explains these details. So some of these people are like this: quiet, mystical, yet very inspiring, tirelessly idealists. That's this one type of person. Make sure you remind me later, and we'll give you one more point for that. Another person, INTJ, is a person that is imaginative, strategic thinkers with a plan for everything. They're very good at architects or being CEOs. When you go through these, they can tell you what jobs match you or your personality type. It also tells you who to date, and it tells you how to relax or what pisses you off. They're actually very interesting. But the main point is to make sure you understand who you are. The simple version of this, again, we were talking right at the very beginning, the idea to know yourself. You can understand Hofstede or MBTI. Those are the most famous ones. But also in our class, we talked about a simple mind map. That would be the third way. Take a paper, write down your characteristics, write down what you like, and then turn the paper over and ask people, what job does it look like? And so that will match your culture and what type of jobs you like. These are the links to those things. It helps you identify your personality, your career, job finding, many different details. Last class, I think I asked you guys this. One person answered. We had more than 20 people last class, and one person said there were 7 Fs here. But there's not. Im Mingyu, can you read this inside the box as fast as you can?
Finished files are the result of years of scientific study combined with the experience of years.
Great. Now, Moon Taekyun, can you tell me how many Fs were in that box? Ready? I'm going to show it to you again for only 5 seconds. Then I'm going to ask the class to tell me how many letter Fs, A, B, C, D, E, F, how many Fs are in that box. Are you ready, Moon Taekyun?
Yes, sir.
Okay, here comes 5 seconds. And Kim Jisoo, are you ready?
Yeah.
Moon Taekyun has the first chance to tell me the answer, and then you also have to tell me how many Fs. Here we go. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Go.
Finished.
3,
Science study combined.
Okay. Moon Taekyun, how many Fs did you count?
5, sir.
Okay. And the next student?
3,
3. Okay, good. So we have one student saying 7, one student saying 5, and one student saying 3. How about Sungjin? Can you tell me, or would you like me to give you a few more seconds to look at the box?
I saw 6.
You saw 6.
Yes.
So we have, I think, 6 different students, and everybody has a different answer. How about Jung Soyun again? You're you're supposed to be the teacher for today. Would you like me to show you the box one more time? Jung Soyun,
Oh, yes.
can you tell me how many Fs you counted, or do you want me to show you the box again?
4.
Okay, you counted 4. So my point is, again, if we go up to the beginning, you try to know your culture when you're moving around. If you're going to move to Canada or go to China or go to France, for you to be successful, you have to know yourself, right? Then you have to know the other French people, and then you must adapt to the French people. That makes sense, right, Moon Tae-kyun?
Yeah.
But most people don't know who you are. Most people don't understand what Hofstede teaches. And Hofstede has some mistakes. So there's another way to learn. The MBTI also helps you. But there's another way, as I was telling you. This way is a simple mind map that will also help you identify who you are, right? So there's 3 ways to help you identify. But the biggest problem is your brain screws you up. Your brain messes you up. Your brain makes mistakes. So let's go back, and it's a very simple box to check. Where is it? It's hard for me to find. Here it is. Inside this box, it's very simple. Finished files are the result of years of scientific study combined with the experience of years. I asked you how many Fs. The problem is, some people say 3, some people say 2. I think there was 4, 5, 6, 7. Here is 1, right? Where's the next one? Anybody in class? Where's the next F? First one is at finished.
Files.
Files. Great. Where's the next one?
Of.
Of. Great. So that student is a freak. Whoever just said that, you're crazy. You're a strange academic. You're like a professor. Most people skip of when you're reading. When you're reading it, you can say of, but your brain cheats you. When you're counting O's or when you're counting F's, you just skip over of. And so you miss this one and you miss this one. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But we had some people saying 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So my point is, even though you try to learn your culture and then you try to learn somebody else's culture, you will think the other people are strange. And so before you start to say, hey, you're screwed up, or hey, you're crazy, or hey, you're bad, or hey, you're strange, before you think the French person is crazy, before you think the person from Argentina or Brazil is strange, try to understand their culture. And then realize that no matter how hard you try to understand them, your brain still cheats you and doesn't recognize some parts that are right in front of you. So as we understand, here is culture. Many parts of culture are easy to see, but like the iceberg, many parts or most parts of culture are underwater, very hard to understand. And things like that F, they just don't show up. So make sure you're aware. In addition to Hofstede, there's many people studying. Your culture is related to traditions, could be related to religion, politics, art, philosophy, science, ethical values, many things. Also time, also your environment, also your parents. In general, in the exam, I'm not going to ask you the hard question of many things like this. I will ask you, what is culture? But the simple question I'm looking for is this. Culture consists of values that are made up of beliefs that make up attitudes. So culture makes up the values, make up attitudes, make up behavior, and the behavior makes up culture. So it's just this circle of these 4 things. That would be the exam answer for explain culture in this circle from Adler. Any questions so far? Or again, Jung So-yun or Jung Yu-jung or Son Ji-min, are any of you guys ready to present? I guess if you're quiet, you're still not ready to present, so I'm going to continue. Hua, can you keep chatting with them. Make sure that they understand it's 20 points, no second chances.
Talking,
Is that clear, Hua?
yeah, I'm talking to them, don't worry.
Great. So, in addition to your brain cheating you, most CEOs of the world are slowly starting to realize most business in the world today comes from outside your country. There's more than 200 countries, and no country has as much business as the whole world. So you should be aware of how to learn what is the culture of other people. Even the idea of China, a lot of people are talking about China. They used to, in Korea, say United States was the biggest, United States was the best. We're going to learn about United States. But China now overtook. They're bigger than USA. Make sure you're aware of these changes, and you might want to check into these details. For example, many students in the past, they, from the very first day of class, especially when they're doing research, especially when they're doing a paper, every one of you, if you're going to do a paper, you must edit your paper. You must make sure the English is okay. So you might want to check an editor in USA, but an editor in USA might cost more than $4,000 for 1 month. But people in the Philippines, their English is just as good, but in the Philippines, it's only $200 a month. Or in Kenya, it's $150 a month. So make sure you're in Nepal, it's even less than that. Or India, same thing. They're very affordable. You can work with people that speak English and they can help you online easily. Be aware of those things. I think that's very helpful for you guys. Where's the next part? We already talked a little bit about SRC. Then we talked about ethnocentrism, and we talked about how you were born and you start as parochial. You start with parochialism. Sung Junso, can you tell me what parochialism means? You start with that as a baby. So what does that mean? Sung Junso?
Yes, Professor.
It's not a yes, no answer. I asked you to define what parochial means.
I don't. I can explain that, but it's a limited or narrow outlook, especially focused on a local area.
Good. Yeah, I think you have to say thank you to Google. That's okay.
Yes.
But Google is a little bit wrong. So the idea is you only know one culture. Your understanding of the world is limited to only one thing, one way of doing things. It's like a baby. Your mother tells you, do this. This is good. Everything else is bad. You don't know that a mother in a different country says maybe the opposite is good. So the idea that we were talking about, we're going back and forth here. We are, this one, parochialism is born knowing only one way, born knowing only one culture. You don't know there's a different culture. Anybody that doesn't do your way, you think is strange or you think is bad. And that's really, really bad. That's the way you were born. And even when you get more education, when you learn there are other cultures, you become ethnocentric. You know there's other cultures, but you think your own culture is best. That's impossible. If only one culture was the best, everybody in the world would copy it. But everybody has their own culture and they keep their own culture, so it stays. Anybody want me to explain more about ethnocentrism? Because it will be on the exam. Or anybody want me to explain more about SRC? Because these are very important to the class, so they will be on the exam. Anybody have questions about them? Going once, need to talk, speak up. After that, I wanted you guys to realize there's many types of culture. There's many different things that make culture. For example, there's cultural dimensions that talk about people's relationship to other people. What is the nature of people? Some people are good and some people are evil. Can I say I'm good and everybody that doesn't talk to me in class is evil? No, I can't say that. I can feel that, but I shouldn't say that out loud. Another type of culture is what is the person's relationship to the external environment? For example, some people are dominant to the environment, or some people are in harmony to the environment. Make sure you know those things. Or what is the primary mode of activity? Some people have a doing culture, some people have a being, or they control things type of culture. Or there's a different type of culture talking about space. How do people see space? For example, do you think everything should be private? Like in North America, most people want things private, or in public, like in the Middle East, Saudi Arabia. Even during a very big $1 million meeting, it could be in the cafeteria and many people walking around because it's public. Or another type of cultural dimension, what is the person's temporal orientation? For example, some people keep thinking about the future, or some people keep thinking about the past. Kim Yunsa, how are you today? Kim Yunsa.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to ask you a crazy question. It's basically part of a movie joke. So I assume you've seen lots of TV, lots of YouTube, and you've seen movies. Have you ever heard of the movie called The Lion King?
Yes.
Okay. Have you ever heard of Superman?
Yes.
Great. So that should help you cheating to do this question. The next question is, you know, some people have a future-oriented culture and some people have a past-oriented culture. What is China? What is the culture of China? And what is the culture of USA? Can you answer that question? Or maybe two questions. What is the culture of China and what is the culture of USA?
You mean literally culture?
Yes.
of the-
So when you describe China, talking about temporal, that means time orientation. Is China future oriented, or is the culture of China past oriented, or is it more present oriented? Same thing with USA. Is USA future oriented or past oriented? Do they think about the past all the time, or do they think about the present all of the time?
Sorry, sir. I can get the meaning of oriented test.
Orientation, that means your thinking style. What is the person's time thinking style? Is the culture of Chinese people future thinking, or is the culture of China present, like right now? Do they think about right now, or is the culture of China mostly past thinking style? Are their movies past oriented or future oriented? That's a simple way to think about it. A big hint, where does the movie Superman come from? That's talking about the future, somebody flying in space, and the idea of Lion King about we come from monkeys, or the Monkey King. That's like, I don't know, hundreds or thousands of years in the past. Where does that movie come from? And I can't see you with your video. I can only see the top of your head. Quickly. I have lots to teach, and another group of students should be getting ready to present today also. Take a guess. Guesses are okay.
Should I answer the
Answer anything.
type of
Type of people, type of thinking style. Are they normally thinking about the past, or are they normally thinking about the future? That's
okay,
the question.
China and US?
Right, that's the question. What is the answer?
I think China peoples are past oriented and US peoples are future oriented.
Good. Actually, that's what many people say, because they're usually thinking that way. When you make a decision in China, they make a decision based on, we always did it. So in the past, we did it this way and we kept doing this, this, this. So in China, they keep doing the same way. That's the way they usually think. And with the movies, like The Monkey King, it's based in the past, hundreds or thousands of years in the past. Monkeys were controlling the world. But in USA, it's the opposite. They say in USA, they're planning for a great future. So we're going to make plans for a good future. Do you understand? Do you agree? The problem is that in USA, they're actually lying. They're lying. They don't even know themselves. They say they're planning for the future, but they are more present oriented. For example, the company, when you invest in Samsung, when you invest in Apple stock, or when you invest in the stock market in USA, many CEOs will talk about their plans for 10 years later or 20 years later. What is the plan for our future? But the reality is they do things every day just to make their stock go up this month or next month. Usually they only think in USA 1, 2, 3, or 4 months in advance. So they're more present oriented than the future. Do you understand what I just said? Joe, Sebin, can you tell me what I just said? How do American people think? What is their temporal orientation? What is their time-based culture? Joe Sebin. Joe Sebin. I need you to take a guess. Talk to me about pink elephants or purple monkeys. I don't care. I need you to talk. Joe Sebin, if you're not here, you're going to probably leave the class. I need you to say something. Okay, you're going to the waiting room. Bye-bye. Next, Yi Chang-gyun, can you answer that? What is the temporal orientation of Americans? Yi Chang-gyun. 5, 4, Yi Chang-gyun. 3, 2, 1. Okay, have fun in the waiting room until you ask to join again. Jung Woo-won. Either ask me a question or answer the question. How are American people with their temporal cultural orientation?
They are present oriented.
Great, thank you. I love you. Marry me. Awesome. Do you know what you're talking about? Or do you want me to explain? Is it clear?
The company's CEOs, Professor, you said CEOs always think how they can raise their stocks.
Good.
So
good enough.
So, yeah.
So there's many ways to describe yourself. There's many ways to think how to manage yourself, how to manage your culture. Make sure you understand what is parochial, what is ethnocentral, what is SRC. Make sure you understand regular management ways like Maslow, Herzberg, expectancy, Hofstede for sure. And understand in many books, people will talk about many different ways of culture, many different ways of managing. So our class is talking about how to manage culture. And trust me, there are hundreds or thousands of books and thousands of theories on managing with culture. But like Maslow has one type of theory on management. Hofstede, Trompenaar. I like Trompenaar, but most people don't know of Trompenaar. Hofstede gets popular again. Over here, you can see Hofstede. So Hofstede is very, very popular. That's why I'm teaching Hofstede. Make sure you know that for the exam. Herzberg, not very popular, so maybe we can skip that. Maslow, not really popular, so make sure we can understand this. I think 2 classes ago, last Friday, I believe, I told you guys a story about hotels in Tahiti. I hope you guys remember my point. Many of you wrote down answers in the Zoom chat, and every one of you was wrong. So I'm going to explain it. The idea of Tahiti is like a tropical island. It's like Jeju or Hawaii, but it's very, very far away. It's out in the middle of the ocean, very far from any big cities, very far from any big countries. Tahiti is a small island in the middle of the ocean. And so a big hotel company like the Sheila Hotel or Hyatt Hotel or Hilton Hotel, they moved to Tahiti and they decided to make some decorations. They wanted to put a statue in front of many rooms. So they asked a worker, can you make me a statue? And the guy said, $100 for the first statue. And the hotel manager said, great. What if I order 5? And he said, okay, maybe it's 150. And the hotel manager was like, what? You said one was 100, and if I order many, now it's $150? No. It's supposed to go from 1 for 100 to with a discount. You're supposed to give me $75 or $50. Let's try again. It's a big hotel. I want you to make me maybe 50 statues. And the worker said, okay, $250 each statue. And everybody was confused. Why? Because in Tahiti, they have a different culture. It's not money focused. It's quality of life focused. The first time the worker makes a statue, he's happy making the statue. It's new, it's sexy, it's interesting. But the second time, the third, fourth, fifth time he makes the same statue, he's bored. And so if I'm bored making this, I'm not happy. So you need to pay me more. If you want me to make 50 statues, you have to pay me a lot more because it's going to be hell. I really don't like making the same statue again and again and again. It's not fun. So you need to pay me more. Kim, Guri, do you understand that? I think last week you talked about there should be a discount. So Kim, Guri, do you understand the culture of Tahiti people? Kim, Guri, once. Kim, Guri, twice. Kim, Guri, 3 times. Going to the waiting room. Mingyu, do you understand the culture of Tahiti workers?
Leader.
Okay, try to guess or ask me a question. Staying mute might be normal in Korea, but outside Korea, it's very rude. The more you ask questions, the more polite you are in most international cultures. So either be like Donald Trump and give me some bullshit answer. That's okay. You can lie to me. That's kind of okay. You can guess or ask me a question. That's also okay. So the idea is if the big hotel goes to Tahiti and asks a worker to make statues, what happens?
Still the work. Tahiti people are not enough to work to earn money because another country people
That's okay. You're good try. So the idea in Korea and in USA, it's money, money, money. Don, don, don. Bali, bali, bali. And so if I do one, it's high price. If I do many, it gets easier. So I want a discount. Money, money, money. But in Tahiti, they're more focused on quality of life, not money. And if they do the same job over and over, it becomes boring. So if the job is boring, you have to pay more. So in Tahiti, there's no discount for quantity. There's increased price for ordering lots of quantity. Is that understood?
yes.
So there's many types of culture. I'm just trying to make sure you understand those details. Here's another one just showing there's many types of theories and cultures. In many books, this is the Cross-Cultural Management, our textbook, a lot of information is talking about parochial. Anybody want to try to define one of those three? What is either parochial, or what is ethnocentrism, or what is SRC? If you can try to define them, I'll give you another 1 bonus point. What about Kim Jae-hyun? No.
Yes, Professor.
Please answer the question. Ah, you're a bad student. You're not listening. You're not paying attention.
No,
I-
Professor, I'm sorry.
Oh, bullshit me. So the question is, can you explain one of those three? What is parochial, or what is ethnocentric, or what is SRC? Because they will be on the exam. Do you know what those are? Can you explain them? If you can, I'll give you maybe half a bonus point now.
Professor, could you please wait?
Could I please wait? I didn't hear what you said. Could I please do what? No. Anybody in class, if you want another half a bonus point, we've already explained that several times today. Can anybody else explain it? Put your hand up and start talking.
I will explain it. What is the definition of ethnocentrism?
Yeah, all you have to do is read what's on the screen. Exactly. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's like
I'm not a hard professor. If you pay attention, it's very easy. Just read what's on the computer monitor. Keep going, Mr.
yes,
Murphy.
I'm reading now.
Good.
So
I'll shut up.
Okay, it's like our culture is the best. So the other cultures, like other foreigners' culture, is not.
Oh, be careful. You might be confusing parochial and ethnocentrism.
First,
if you-
ethnocentrism.
Great. So if you're defining ethnocentrum, you can talk about
Yeah,
other
it's like
culture.
our culture is best. The other foreigner culture is just shitty.
Right.
You know?
So
Yeah.
that is ethnocentrism.
Yeah.
Correct. So you deserve half a mark more. Parochial, you don't know about other cultures. You only know one culture. You only know one way. And anybody that's not doing your way, you think is bad. That is parochial or parochialism. One way. When you know there's a different way, that is ethnocentric or ethnocentrism. But you still think your way is the best. And SRC is understanding that you make the decision based off of your mind or your heart, and you forget to make the decision with the other people that have other hearts and other brains. So making a decision without checking the other value is SRC problem. Great. We started to talk a little bit about this. The main reason for a hierarchical structure is so everyone knows who has authority over whom. This English might be complicated. Maybe we can skip this. What about this? It is important for managers to have the exact answer when their worker asks a question. Or it's important for a manager to have the exact answer to most questions the subordinates or the staff ask about work. So it's important for the manager. In Japan, it's 78%, very important. Spain, also very important. Indonesia, a little bit less, but still very important. Italy getting lower, France lower, Germany lower, Belgium lower, Switzerland, Great Britain, Denmark, United States, Netherlands, Sweden, it's not important at all. Why? Because in Sweden, everybody's equal, everybody's human. If you ask the CEO, if he doesn't know, he will say, I don't know, ask the engineer, or I don't know, ask the accountant. And there's no problem. They're very comfortable with that in Sweden. But in Japan, there's a very strict hierarchy, kind of like Korea. So the teachers and the bosses, they're supposed to have the exact answer. That is one reason why Korean people don't ask questions. So, Mr. Kwan Junha, do you understand what I just said?
John Sayun, she's ready to present. So can we stop here for a moment?
After I make sure this is kind of clear.
Yeah.
Kwan Junha,
Yeah.
do you understand this picture and what I was talking about people asking questions? This is the culture, not by Hofstede, it's a culture by Laurent. It's similar to Hofstede's uncertainty avoidance. He's saying in Japan, 78% say you must have the exact answer, or you just make it up. And in Sweden, only 10% want the answer. 90% say, no problem, I don't need the answer. Do you understand this idea?
Yes.
Okay, now do you understand why you don't ask questions? Where are you on this chart? Where are Korean people?
Maybe Japan.
Yes, you're right next to Japan, because the historical culture is Korean bosses, Korean professors, Korean teachers. Historically, they were expected to have all the answers. If they didn't have the answers, people would think they're not good teachers, not a good boss, not high respect. So people over many years, they started asking less questions. That is why you don't ask many questions. Mr. Kwan, what do you think about that? Do you think it's okay that you don't ask questions, or do you think that it's okay in the future for you to ask your boss many questions?
I think a change to make many questions to both.
Right. So for Korea to really develop, they should try to copy more of the Sweden style or the Denmark style. Yes. So you should push yourself to talk, push yourself to ask questions. Is that understood, Mr. Kwan?
Yeah.
Anybody else in class understand what I'm talking about? Nobody in class is asking questions or talking. So go ahead. Hua, who was the student that wants to start presenting now?
John Seo Yun.
Okay, feel free to start presenting, and at the same time, Jung So-yun, please ask the class questions. Go ahead. Jung So-yun, can you say hello? If I don't hear you, it's actually considered rude in North America. Are you trying to give me the middle finger, Jung So-yun? You're not even listening to Mr. Kwan. He understands. Mr. Kwan, is Jung So-yun, is she giving me the middle finger?
Yeah.
Because she's not asking questions and she's being so quiet, she's giving me the middle finger. Okay, no problem. I'm open-minded. I can accept it. Start talking.
Hello, I am Seon Jung and Yoo Jung. Our weekly presentation topic are the advancement of Korean food and cosmetic into foreign countries. This is a table content. First, let's look at the keyword, the reason why I choose this topic, and then we will look at the introduction and oversee advance of Korean food and cosmetic in order. With the Korean waves, Korean food and Korean cosmetic brand have entered the world. Once I read the news that interest has increased in health and Korean food because of COVID-19 and other news that Korean cosmetic continue to be loved despite the economic downturn. We choose the topic because I want to know about overseas advance of Korean food and cosmetics. First overall, let's think about it. When did the Korean wave begin? Korean wave, which referred to the spread of South Korean culture around the world. The start of Korean wave was 1999. It was first mentioned by Chinese media and mid-1999 that the trend was coming from Korea. Although the Korean wave originated from culture, it covers all fields, including politics and economic, sociality, and sports. In the late 1990s, the Korean wave spread to Southeast Asia and Europe and South America. And in millennium years, the Korean wave's theme were drama, popular music, and movies. In the 2010s, the Korean wave's theme were diversified into food, game, animation, broadcasting, and webtoons. And then who is the main character is the main character of the Korean wave. The main character of the Korean waves are actor in movie and drama and famous singer like called idol. The clothes, shoes, and accessories they were attracted attention all over the world, and the makeup method they did become popular and exposed to Korean cosmetics, and in addition, they became interested in the Korean food. Due to the popularity of the Korean wave, the food enjoyed in Korea were exported to the world. Due to the popularity of the Korean wave, the tteokbokki brand Dooki was successfully launched in China and Taiwan, and each 100 store was successfully launched in Vietnam. However, due to the COVID-19 crisis, the popularity spread due to the rumor that Korean food is good for immunity. As a result, Korean kimchi export 116 billion won last year. As you can see in the graph, you can see tremendous growth. Interested in Korean food has grown since the COVID-19 outbreak, and other food have also seen a huge increase.
In this journal, as a result of comparing the annual export growth rates in recent years, Southeast Asian markets, Indonesian cosmetics, Thai cosmetics, and Vietnam's cosmetics shows a high export growth rate. There is no decrease in perception of quality, differentiation, and reliability, indicating that overall recognition of Korean consumer product is good. And currently, the presence of many leading Korean skincare cosmetic with leading names in the Vietnam market, such as Laneige, Innisfree, Ohi, Atomy, Moret, and so on. Currently, foreign brands account for 90% of Vietnam's cosmetic market share, with Korea headed by the leading superior in Asia. Korean music, fashion, and movie content and dramas are extremely popular throughout Asia. The successful export of culture makes the outstanding development of their cosmetic fields understandable, especially when the Vietnam-Korea Free Trade Agreement 2015 has cut trips between the two countries. 한 번만 클릭해. 이거 아니고 저는. According to data provided by the Ho Chi Minh City Cosmetic Association, South Korea accounts for the largest proportion of foreign cosmetic sales in Vietnam with a 30% market share. The EU ranked second with 23%, followed by Japan 17%, Thailand 13%, and the US 10%. The remaining countries contribute 7%. KBT has several ways to target the cosmetic market in other countries. Innisfree, one of Korea's cosmetic brands, has entered India's #1 KBT e-commerce Macaron Beauty. This is a strategy to explore the India market based on digital sales platforms and cooperation rather than directly entering offline stores. Amor Pacific established an India corporation in 2012, entitled Innisfree the following year, and now operates 27 Innisfree stores in India. And in 2020, Kotra started targeting local consumer in Vladivostok, Russia. Kotra opened a KBT online exhibition hall in Persian and introduced new products using influencer and held a promotional exhibition at Vladivostok's largest shopping center on December 19th last year. Last year, Ha Sung-bom, director of Kotra's Vladivostok Trade Center, said Russia is Korea's sixth largest cosmetic exporter, and exports rose 8.3% from January to October this year, despite COVID-19. And this is reference. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much. Great job. The most important thing anyone can do when you're presenting, especially Korean people, is ask questions. Does the audience understand? If you do that, you will make sure your information is good and correct, and you'll make sure they understand, and you will improve. Would you like to ask questions from anyone? What kind of marks do you have? How can you improve? Any questions at all? Our time is almost up. I don't have too much time to play around. 5 seconds. Okay, so you're not you're not talking. Unfortunately, that's not good. If you were talking, I would give you higher points. For example, your presentation, where is it here? The referencing. When you reference, you should be able to see this. Make sure you understand how to reference. Whether you do a paper for the class or you have a presentation, your final mark will be checked. Every slide, if you're showing information from other people, if you're referencing things, every slide you should use in-text reference. It looks like this: author and year. You skipped that, so you're missing some marks for that. You are stealing ideas from other people. And the very last page, you showed some references, but your references were not following the proper APA style. You need to be able to show somebody where exactly you got it. So the author, the year they wrote it, the title of the article. You skipped the title of the article several times, and then you have the title of the journal, which is good, and you can have extra information about the title of the journal, but then you also need the date that you got it, and either the DOI or the website.